Welcome to the Australia Post Business Talks podcast. I'm Andrew Brickwood, General Manager of Enterprise and Government at Australia Post, and I'm delighted to be talking to Richard Lee, co-founder and CEO of July Luggage, an amazing Australian luggage brand that's taking the world by storm. Let's get into the conversation. Welcome, Richard.
Thank you very much, Andrew. I'm very happy to be here today.
So I know the audience is really looking forward to hearing more about agility in business, customer experience, expanding into new markets, and it's that time of the year nearly upon us, so thinking about peak and the impacts of peak. But before we get started, it'd be great to hear some more about the brand.
For sure. July is a premium direct-to-consumer luggage and bags brand. We first started in Melbourne, and now we are fully operating in US, UK, and Australia. And our mission is to help people travel better with high-quality designer travel products. That's the brand.
So look, it'd be great to kick off, if we think about agility, really understanding agility in the context of your leadership at July Luggage.
For sure. I think agility in my company means being able to, change quickly to the market dynamics, and also make sure that we can unite the team together to work on the most fundamental things in the business towards one goal. For leaders like ourselves in the company is to make sure that we clear the roadblocks for them so that they can have the freedom and focus to work on those things.
Thinking about starting in 2019, thinking about launching a luggage brand, a fantastic luggage brand, and then COVID shutting down the world overnight, and global travel just stopped.
Yeah.
Like all of a sudden there were just no planes on the FlightAware apps and so on. So I just imagine that would have been an amazing time of agility. So if you could talk to us and tell us about how did you actually go through that period of time?
So 2019, we launched the business. We had a stellar year. We were growing like crazy. We were hitting all our goals. We launched our first retail store in Emporium Shopping Center. We also raised a first round of capital. It was crazy. We thought that we were unstoppable until early 2020, and everything stopped. We had a huge decline in revenue. We didn't know what to do. And it was at that time we made some decisions. The first one we did was we wanted to focus on diversifying our product range, our product offering. So we got a team to focus on product development rather than chasing revenue because we couldn't. No one was traveling. The second thing that we did was that, we were looking at, okay, if Australia was in lockdown, is there another market where there wasn't lockdown? We saw China was still flying. We actually launched our business in China in 2020. That was great because we were able to bring some revenue to keep us going. And I think number three is, just really make sure that we had great cost control, be disciplined around spending. So we're not overspending. We actually make sure that, the business was still growing at a sustainable pace. Those are the things that we did during COVID, really helped us. And I can tell you something, Andrew, those habits still helping us today. So we're able to still be disciplined around cash, still be disciplined around operation efficiency, so that it's actually making us a better company, better business.
Yeah, that's fantastic, because I was going to ask, how do you actually embed those learnings, those new disciplines that you otherwise probably wouldn't have actually really needed to focus on into how you run the business today? And it clearly has set you up, for the expansion that you're going through today.
100%. We apply those principles in everything that we do, whether it's product development or global expansion, or whether it's in hiring a team. We are not big believer of growing at all cost. We want to make sure that we can build a company that will last a decade, 2 decades, even 100 years. So we want to make sure the business is making a profit, being a sustainable business, rather than, okay, we're hitting $100 million revenue, but we're making huge loss. That's not the business we want to operate in. We want to make sure that we have enough margin to keep us innovating and growing, so that we can produce better products for our customers.
Yeah, fantastic. And I'll, thinking about how you talk about innovating the business, at Australia Post as well. If you look at, the Australia Post, the modernisation and the transformation journey that we're going on at the moment, we really think about reliability, simplicity and choice in all the aspects when we think about the customer value proposition. I'm really interested to understand more as far as how everybody on the July team is really a part of the flow of customer feedback to understand what those needs are.
Yeah.
And then thinking about, how rich that customer feedback is in nearly real time. How have you seen customer demands change?
Yeah.
And how are you applying that to July Luggage?
For sure. Actually, just on that point, I think the big change post-COVID, what we discovered is that people have been shifting their preference on how they shop. In the past, everything was online. I think 10 years ago, even 5 years ago, everyone was talking about, retail is dead. Everything is going online. But what we noticed post-COVID is that people actually want to have that physical experience. People want to come to the store. People want to touch and feel. People want to speak to a real person. And since then, we've actually been strengthening our retail footprint. Till this point, we have 8 or 9 retail stores across Australia. We're opening more for the next 12 months. We believe we need to be at where customers are at. If they want to shop in a retail store, we'll be there. If they want to shop online, we'll provide the best online experience for our customers. And all this feedback is from, continuous survey, customer insights, through our online ticketing system, customer phone call, and people coming to the store. They tell us how much they love, online experience or retail experience. And I think that's the biggest thing.
Yeah, fantastic. And look, I think, at Australia Post, that's been at the forefront. I spoke about simplicity, reliability and choice. And in launching our new product, Metro, and ensuring that guarantee of next-day delivery service has really been a part of making sure you can actually service your customers in the way that they want to be serviced. You mentioned about the app and tracking in the app.
Yeah.
What we've found, especially over this period of time, is that the trust and reliability of using the app, when you see so many scams taking place across text messages and so on, it really is a valuable tool where you can actually communicate, with your customers as well in a secure way.
Yeah, if there's one thing I can add, Andrew, is that I also noticed Australia Post have been very, very proactive with communication. Because, I think, was it last year or the year before? There was delay in WA. So I remember Australia Post sent a big email to all the business owners telling everyone, hey, expect delay in WA. Make sure you tell your customers. We were able to let our customer know that there will be 3 to 4 business days of delay so people can lower the expectation. People always have a good experience. So it's up to them whether they want to take the service or not, rather than we over-promise and under-deliver, which is something I've noticed.
Yeah, and we through our sort of customer experience sort of transformation that we're going through at the moment, we're making significant investments, not only in the network, but in our technology areas. And the idea is that we can actually proactively inform you in as real near time of any delays in the network or any impacts that may or may not, be affecting, parcels getting to your customers.
For sure.
So we're really doubling down on that, and you will be excited to get your feedback as to how that's helping with that customer experience.
I'll make sure I let you know.
Yeah, good. And look, as you scale internationally, what are some of the biggest challenges that you've been facing into, and how's July Luggage, addressing that?
For sure. I think July, from day one, we knew that we wanted to go global. We probably expanded to international markets sooner than most of other brands. So we faced a lot of challenges early days, and we knew, we learned very quickly what those challenges are, and of course we quickly addressed those challenges. I think the first one is obviously on the compliance side. setting up the company, making sure that we're paying tax correctly, making sure that we're hiring people correctly. Those are I think, number one. I think number two is adapting into the local culture and local business environment. Something that works in Australia doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to work in the US market. The way that we talk, even spelling can be a little bit different. The images that resonate with people is different. You gotta learn, you gotta adapt, and you gotta improve. And those are things we're learning, as we are, continue growing in the overseas market. You cannot use the same thing, for that's already working in Australia, expecting working the same way in another market. It may work, but not always. So those are things that you gotta be very flexible and agile. If it doesn't work, you change.
So I think the key word there is that you mentioned is being agile.
Correct.
And we spoke about agility in business. So applying those lessons that you've learned since launching in 2019 are really critical for people to learn from.
For sure. The other thing I just want to add for international market is that, Australia is a relatively small country in terms of population. In comparison to a market like the US, much, much larger, I think 5 to 10 times of the population or market size. So even when it comes to logistics and operation, you got to treat it very differently.
And thinking, you spoke about that customer experience and so on. As you expand into new global markets, how do you ensure that you make that your brand promise is consistent across each of those?
Yeah, I think for us, there are two things very important, and those are the fundamental to our brand. The first one is making sure that we are supplying high quality products, that high quality design that resonate with people, and people love a product, they'll tell their family and friends, so more and more people will know about us. The second thing is really make sure that you deliver the same level of service in those markets. For example, for US market, at the beginning, we were using the same customer service people from Australia, but the issue with that is people constantly need to wait for like 12 hours or 15 hours, for a response because of the time difference. What we have done since then is we implemented AI into our ticketing system so that a lot of the answers can be responded, within seconds. Second thing is, we hire local agents so that they can address the issues and customer service issues, within a couple hours to deliver the best experience possible. So it's all about being consistent in your quality, product offering, and also service.
Yeah, and I think I agree with you. The adoption of tech, the power of AI, as long as you get it right, can be so powerful to delivering a consistent brand experience and addressing, customer queries first time before it's got to come through to to someone to actually answer. But then having that local knowledge, as you talk about, I think is really important because they understand the local market, they understand those customer
needs. Yeah, they understand how to deal with customer issues from a local perspective.
Yeah, really important.
Yeah.
And with peak planning well and truly underway across Australian businesses, it'll be fantastic to understand how you're planning peak and how peak impacts your business.
For sure. As you mentioned, Andrew, peak season just around the corner, and a lot of businesses, including ourselves, will see double, triple of the sales, comparing to off-peak season. So there's a lot of preparation work that need to be done in order to fulfill customer demands. I think for us, what we have done for the past couple of years is that we have become more data-driven. So that we can actually forecast what customer needs, and so we're bringing stock in as what we planned. I think to make sure that our inventory is more efficient, so we're not bringing a lot of stock in, hoping that it will sell. I think that's number one. Number two is what we've done very differently from other businesses that we have been leveraging upstream DC, where we keep a lot of our stock, at our factories or at a warehouse in Asia, so that we have the stock ready to go. We don't have to wait for fresh production that will take 2 or 3 months. Whereas if I have the stock ready to go, it will only take about 3 weeks for me to get stock over to Australia and fulfill to customers. And those are the very, very important things for inventory. And on the customer service side, we want to make sure that we have enough people to answer those tickets as peak season coming, and so that we can deliver the best experience for our customers. And on top of that, we're ramping up our marketing activities as well to make sure that people know about us, know that some of the new ranges we're releasing, and make sure that people, when people, make sure that July is top of their mind, when they think about travel, when they think about luggage.
So, Richard, it's been amazing having you here today, and I really want to thank you for sharing your knowledge around agility, customer experience, expanding into new markets, and preparing for peak, such a busy time of the year for the Australian retail sector.
I had a lot of fun chatting to you today, and I look forward to chatting to you more. Thank you very much for having me.
Thanks, Richard.